Let's learn about our new weaving and sewing experimenting table. Here are plastic needles for weaving or sewing into burlap. They're big and they're good for yarn. So right here is the sign out. So if you're going to use one of these, pick which one you want. So let's say that I want number 5, and I'm going to go over here, and pardon me, I'm doing this one-handed. So I'd find 5 and I'd write my name right underneath that. So I'd write Mrs. Hall. So now we know that Mrs. Hall has number 5 out. Then I'd go over here and I would take number 5 and I would use it. At the end of class, I take any yarn or string that's in here and I take it out and I'll go like this and I'll kind of twist it and put it back into the, there we go, okay. Like that. So I don't want you to shove it in just like this because it could get pushed down into the burlap and lost and kind of like stuck down in here. So let's not do that. Let's try and keep our needles from getting lost because it's annoying when you need something and you can't find it. Just like that. And when you turn it in, you can just erase your name. So the first side of the table is for weaving, and you can see here that what I'm doing is putting on the warp threads. Those are the ones that go up and down on our loom. So our loom is on this table and it has these nails in it. And this one is just going to be our classroom experimenting loom. So anyone can add to it and put things on it. If you ever want to make your own weaving and keep it, then we have looms that you can use, and you would put the warp threads on just like I'm doing now. Just a quick note, never push on those strings really hard and never cut those strings because it's a lot of work to put it together, so be gentle with it. So we've got yarn tied to our needle and it's about a wingspan length. And now you're gonna start going. It doesn't matter if you go over or under, you pick one or the other, but then you always go the opposite like a pattern. So if I go over the first one, I go under, then over the third, under the fourth, over the fifth, under, over, under, over, under. And when you start to get to where you can't push your needle anymore, you can slide it and start to pull that tail through. And keep pulling. And then you always wanna leave a little bit of a tail at the end. So now it's kind of keep going. Last time my pink went under, so now it's gonna go over, under, over, under, over, under, over, under, over, under. And then do the same thing, kind of pull, pull, pull. So it's just creating a pattern, going under, over, under, over, under, over. Oops. And then you could go all the way across the whole thing, or if you want to just kind of turn around, what you would do is you'd have, see how it went under the white? We're going to go over and then under, so you're doing the opposite of what you did before. If you do the same as what you did before, it'll undo what you just did. So you have to make sure you go the opposite. So if it went over last time, you have to go under the second time. Oopsies, I got caught on my nails, there we go. All right, so I have my string through the eye of my needle. And then this side is just for exploring sewing. And this is a burlap fabric, and it's held in with these little rubber kind of, I don't know, rubber rope kind of a thing. So try not to pull up on this, because if you pull really hard, it will come out. And it's actually kind of difficult to put back in. So don't push really hard on this or pull up on it. So what we're gonna do is take our thread and put it, or yarn, and put it in our needle. Carefully, and one way you can do it is by twisting the end, twisty, 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 and then sliding it in. You can also kind of pinch the end of the yarn and then kind of feed it through that way by pinching really close to the eye of the needle. And then we're just gonna learn how to do a running stitch really quickly. So what you're gonna do is, I like to start from the bottom and go up. So there's my needle. And if you don't like where it went, just kind of try and poke until you find where you want it to go. And it's gonna come up. And if I keep pulling all the way through, it's just gonna come out. So if you wanna tie a knot in the end of it, you can. Sometimes the knot, if it's not big enough, it will just pop through. Let's see how it goes if I tie a knot in it. See if it'll come through. Well, it kind of, if I pulled hard enough, it came through. So what I'll do is I'll go up and then back down next to it. So now I have like a little stitch right here, and I can actually tie underneath the table. I can tie a knot underneath the table. So now I can go up and down next to it. So that's creating a running stitch. So I'll show you that from a different angle here. So we go up with our needle and pull it through, and then we go down next to it. And that's called a running stitch. It kind of looks like a dash line. And if you kind of put your needle really far, it's gonna make a bigger gap. Here, we'll go right next to it, pull it up, and go next to it, put it down. So it's kind of as simple as that. So you sort of draw with your thread this way by just doing these little lines.